Hi, my name is Alexandra Carusi, and today I'm going to be discussing the social movement Black Lives Matter and the role technology played. Let's begin with a brief history on African American lives. Did you know? African Americans were sold as commodity slaves. African American people were not free from slavery until 1862. Black men could not vote until the year 1870. Black women could not vote until the year 1965. For reference, white women were allowed to vote in 1917. That's 45 years before black women were allowed to vote. Ironically, with Golf Masters going on right now, it wasn't until 1990 that the very first black male golfer was allowed, or rather admitted, to play in the World Masters golf game at Augusta National Golf Course. This timeline briefly captures the history of African American people up until present, when the Black Lives Movement was funded and founded. In 1619, African American people were not seen as people, but rather slaves. They were sold as commodity slaves. In the 1830s, conventions were held to end and rectify black slavery as people began to acknowledge and come to the conclusion that something wasn't right, because it wasn't. In 1860, President Lincoln set a movement in place to emancipate black slavery, which led to the Civil War. Fast forward to 1862, where President Lincoln was still in power, the Emancipation Proclamation of 1862 was signed, which freed all slaves from slavery. Sounds great, right? Well, not so much. Fast forwarding to year 2013, where black lives were still at jeopardy. This is when the Black Lives Matter movement was funded and founded. So this leaves us with the question, where are we now? It is important to recognize that the timeline provided only highlights some of the many milestones to Black history, and it is also important to emphasize that slavery is only one part to the journey to freedom for African American people. African American people have suffered from past to present. Even with the declaration of the Emancipation Proclamation in 1862, Black people were not set free. Black people suffer from social criminality, anti-Black hate crimes, labor oppression, marginalization, and police brutality, just to name a few. So what role does technology play in the Black Lives Matter social movement? Well, let's find out.
We saw corporations, we saw businesses, we saw government leaders saying the words Black Lives Matter, but in many ways, we did not see a commitment to actually making those systemic changes.
Justin Trudeau, where are you?
If you've been seeing a lot of blank screens on social media today, Megan Alexander reports there's a very good reason.
It's a powerful message. 8 minutes, 46 seconds of darkness, symbolic of the time the Minneapolis police officer dug into George Floyd's neck. The moving tribute to Floyd aired last night on MTV, VH1, Comedy Central, and other Viacom CBS networks. You can hear the sound of breathing. Today, millions of Instagram users turned their screens black with the hashtag Blackout Tuesday to remember George Floyd. Alicia Keys is among many celebrities taking part. We need deep systemic.
The clips previously shown were just a few ways in which the Black Lives Matter movement, and hashtag rather, was utilizing social media and technologies to portray its larger message. Black Lives Matter was founded in 2013 in response to the acquittal of Trayvon Martin's murder. Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation Incorporated is a global organization in the US, UK, and Canada. The collective mission of Black Lives Matter is to eradicate white supremacy and build local power to intervene in violence inflicted on Black communities by state and by vigilance. By combating the counteracts of violence, creating a space for Black imagination and innovation, and centering Black joy, we are winning immediate improvements in all of our lives. Some affirmations proclaimed by the Black Lives Matter movement and board are: we are expansive, we affirm the lives, we are working, and we affirm our humanity. The call for Black Lives Matter is rallying a cry for all Black lives, striving for liberation, and further, equality. So now that we know what the Black Lives Matter movement is and whom it is designed for, how can we help? And moreover, how does technology help? Well, as seen in this figure here, the Black Lives Matter board and information page online gives us just a few ways in which we can help. Help us fight disinformation. We need to see what you see. Black Lives Matter is a central target of disinformation, and you are a key line of defense. Report suspicious sites, stories, ads, social accounts, and posts about Black Lives Matter by clicking the Help Us button. Moreover, use further technologies such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube, just to name a few resources and social technologies that we can use and utilize to help further pursue the Black Lives Matter movement. The Black Lives Matter is and will continue to be a completely digitalized movement. Dr. Moya Bailey, the author of #Activism, and Sandy Hudson, a member of the Black Lives Matter board, recognize that there has been much change made because of the movement through social media. Police have been removed from Black prominent schools in Vancouver just recently, since the Black Lives Matter hashtag and Blackout Tuesday hashtag took success. And more policy change is in discussion. Dr. Moya Bailey says, "It is a moving train that doesn't seem to be stopping, with the help of the activists and social media users trying to get help." Traditional media has an important role in broadcasting news to the world. Its informative justice practices occurred an example on Instagram on #Blackout Tuesday, where more than 14.6 million black squares flooded Instagram in just a few short hours. Feedback is helpful for the Black Lives Matter board and for the policy creators, as it shows people want to do something. It shows the message is popular, and it also shows that the monkey see, monkey do effect can be effective when we are going with the new norm. The new question is, how can we most usefully use social media and technology and activism in partnership to get the most from the Black Lives Matter movement? Scholar Sandy Hudson discusses how instead of #Blackout Tuesday, with the feedback they've received from this digitalized movement, we now head forward to new interconnected movements like the Defund the Police movement and the Speak Now movement, where people who have been murdered by police brutality are being recognized. Say my name, they may say. The Defund Police movement has now been set into motion as well, with a petition with over 5,000 signatures. This has all been made possible because of our activists' use on social media, a place where we can be heard, where we can be seen, and where we can make a change. This concludes my presentation on the Black Lives Matter movement. I'd like to take this opportunity to invite you to be a part of the change and join the activists on social media platforms and use technology such as news, blogs, and posts to be a part of the change. For more information on Black Lives Matter and the Black Lives Matter movement, you may visit blacklivesmatter.com/about. Thank you so much for listening to this presentation, and I hope to see our change take place in a world of love and peace. Bye.